Now, when we speak of India, the unfortunate reality is that it reduces itself to an entity. It reduces itself to a specific nation state. But when you speak of Bharat, it truly represents an idea. It truly represents the confluence of multiple spheres. So, for instance, India perhaps is at best a political entity. Bharat is the confluence of three levels at the very least in terms of our civilizational realizations at multiple levels. One, the spiritual. Second is the social. They culminate into the political, which means politics and political discussion is usually never the starting point of a conversation when you speak of Bharat. No wonder, as Sri Sadhguru mentions, you think of it as a civilization in the first place, and then you try and understand what makes it a civilization. I think over the last 9 years or so, India has been speaking of Hindutva a lot. And as a consequence of India's conversations with Hindutva, the discussion has been heavily political, forgetting that it is merely the topsoil and there's a lot more to this particular land and its culture and its civilization that needs to be revisited over and over again. The journey from India to Bharat is not a journey towards attainment of the so-called status of a superpower, but it is primarily a journey of self-realization and reawakening and rediscovery of our own roots, which I think is the biggest possible challenge that most people whose hearts beat for Bharatiya face, and that's the task that we have cut out for ourselves. I don't think I am interested in convincing the rest of the world of the greatness of this country. My primary challenge is to speak to my own brothers and sisters and try and tell them that this is the culture that you have inherited. And as long as the primary challenge remains, which is to speak with your own people, I don't think there is any further need to speak with the rest of the world. Because I have not been able to convince the home audience, so to speak, of the greatness of the civilization. Every question, rather every statement is followed by a but. It's almost as if doubt is the foremost sentiment when it comes to the greatness of the civilization, which I don't think really bodes well for any aspirations of a Vishwaguru status. If you can't convince yourself of your own greatness, what is the point of trying to convince the rest of the world? It doesn't work. At least not in my limited understanding of human psychology. I don't think that works.